The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Clark County, Nevada, on your new fire apparatus, job number 33856. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. We'll get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. Starting on the front bumper, passenger and driver side, face of the front bumper, you'll find your speaker for your PA and electronic siren. Moving just inside of that location of the frame rail, you'll find dual air horns. Moving up onto the bumper extension, you'll find 3 hose trays located center, right, and left. Located on the driver's side bumper extension, you'll find your mechanical siren. Moving up onto the cab face, you'll find on the outer edges turn indicator and marker lights. Moving just inside of that location, the headlight structure housing low and high beam headlights. Moving up from that, you'll find emergency warning lights forward facing. Behind the Pierce logo is where you'll find the hood release. As we move up further, you'll find your seamless one-piece windshield has 3 windshield wipers. On the outer edge, you'll find your mirrors housing a convex and flat portion. Moving up onto the brow of the apparatus, you'll find 5 clearance identification marker lights. And located nestled in the center, you'll find a forward-facing floodlight. Let's move to the roof of the vehicle. You'll find emergency warning lights on the passenger and driver side location. Let's move up from this location. We'll talk a little bit about your ladder assembly. First, starting at the very front section, you'll find 4 floodlights. Moving down on the passenger side, you'll find the release mechanism to allow your waterway to be moved to a lower position on the fly. This should be accomplished only when the fly is in the parked position. Also on your fly, you'll find your opticom located on the very front. Moving further down, just for quick identification, this is your speaker system and also intercom. Here are the close-ups of those images that we talked about previously. These are the bumper trays. First in the center, housing a 1.5" swivel discharge. The 2 outer are just hose storage locations with dry deck material. Let's now move up to the Pierce logo. Directly behind that, if you feel behind it, you'll find a release mechanism which allows you to open the latch. As we move to the side, you'll find 4 doors for persons. On those door latches, you do have keyed locking. There's also grab handles at all points of entry for personnel at all 4 locations. In addition, on the passenger and driver side, you'll find electronic locks. You do have on the side number 17, your unit identifier. And then as we move now to the notched section of the vehicle, we'll start first with some warning labels. Do not ride on the side of your apparatus and be cautious when climbing. As we move to the right, you'll find an additional warning label that caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when removing them. Located in the center, you'll find the Pierce logo American Flag Eagle large diameter pump intake. Moving to the right, you have a 2.5" passenger side discharge. Because of this being electronically controlled, there is an override. As we move down, you'll find the green large diameter discharge. Same thing, there is an override down in the lower section. Across the bottom, you'll find the discharge drains. As we move down, just above that large diameter intake, you'll find the passenger side body scene light and also passenger side cab scene light. Close-ups here of the 2 discharges, 2.5" and large diameter, once again clearly identified and marked. Let's go ahead and move up from this location. You'll find your crosslays located behind the roll-up door. You'll find in the lower section there are 2.5" crosslays, in addition with a release mechanism to allow you to remove the speed lay itself. You'll also find at the top section there's a speed lay. This is a 2.5" and also a release mechanism. Down at the very bottom, you'll find a warning label here regarding entanglement hazard because of those hoses coming from above. This is the location of your 2.5" crosslay, and you'll find just beneath that the release mechanism for that speed lay itself. You do have additional storage location here and also backboard storage location on the very front section. Let's take a look now at the side of the apparatus. We'll identify a few items here. First, those grab handles for points of entry for personnel. And then let's go ahead and look upward to the very top section. You'll find a side-facing cab scene light.
As we move to the rear of the cab, you'll find your LED indicator here regarding the level of your water tank. So this is your water tank level indicator. You'll also find down just above the notch a side-facing emergency warning light. As we move to the rear section of the body, you'll find a side-facing scene light. And then also as we move forward of this location on the passenger side, you'll find your cord reel. And as we move down, you'll find those 3 emergency warning lights across the lower section of your apparatus. Let's move back to the very top. Once again, this is your tank water level indicator. And then as we move further to the back section, you'll also find your tracking lights located on the ladder. Let's go ahead and move to the rear section here of the body. This is going to be your twist lock for your extension reel. And as we move into the first compartment, you'll find the rewind switch or push button for that. This is a 200-foot 20-amp reel. As we move up, you'll also find a 12-volt access location barrel style in the compartment just above that location. Let's go ahead and move now down to the lower section. I would like to identify this warning label regarding extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures and be cautious as to where you park your vehicle. Moving up from this location, you'll find in the wheel well area 2 SCBA bottle storage locations. Let's go ahead and move further up to the next compartment up where you'll find a tool board. The D handle releases the tool board. Once it's in the open position, it will lock in position. The release for that lock is located on the hinge side. Moving now to the rear section of the rear tire, you'll find bottle storage location here, 2 SCBAs. Just beneath that, you'll find the fill location for your ultra low sulfur diesel. Just beneath that fill cap is where you'll find a outlet for your generated power. Moving now to the rear section, you'll find a stabilizer pad in the lower section, and you'll find your department logo located above that. Moving to the stair area, you'll find a front to back tilt indicator, and then just beneath that you'll find an access panel. Now moving inside the compartment, you'll find 2 adjustable shelves, dry deck material on the floor and also on the shelving, and also LED lighting. To the rear, you'll find your brake, turn, and reverse indicator, and also an emergency warning light. Moving up, also a warning label here regarding fall on climbing on the side of the apparatus. As we move to the rear, you'll find outrigger controls just inside this location and also a fall injury warning label. As we look inside the compartment, you'll find emergency stop located in the upper left-hand corner. You'll also find just beneath that a protected switch. This is for your override. And moving just to the right, you'll find emergency hydraulic power. And then you'll also find slightly to the right, you'll find a level assist. Moving downward, you'll find the 2 locations. We're on the passenger side, so we'll find the passenger side stabilizer control. The very top will move the outrigger inward and outward. The bottom will move the outrigger up and down. As we move further down, you'll find your rear stabilizer control, which will allow you to move the stabilizer upward and downward. The green indicators indicate that the outrigger is sufficient for moving to aerial operations. As we move to the rear roll-up compartment, you'll also find your department logo located here, and you'll also find a roll-up compartment door and pull strap on the right-hand side, LED lights within inside this compartment. You also have 2 locations for ladder storage, one on the right and one on the left side for long ladder storage, and also just beneath that roll-up compartment, you'll find your aerial override compartment. As we look inside, first we'll point out some danger and some warning labels. High pressure hazard because of those high pressure hydraulic hoses. And then also if you choose to short jack your apparatus, there is the possibility of tip over or structural failure. Moving up to the top, you'll find the coinciding handle matches the indicator down in the lower section. As we move to the right, the gray is for ladder functions. Moving all the way to the very far right, you'll find your emergency power. This will allow you to select either aerial or stabilizer. Moving just down from this location, we'll find a few warning labels here. First, pressure hazard because caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. Also to the right, you'll find a crush hazard because of the movement of the aerial stabilizers. As we move to the very center, you'll find your Pierce American Flag Eagle. This is going to be the aerial inlet. And then moving to the right, you'll find a pressure gauge for that aerial inlet. Also moving to the right, you'll find a tilt indicator from left to right. They're at varying degrees from 0 to 15 degrees. Please see your owner's manual for proper operation. Moving down, you'll find the aerial drain located in the very rear section behind this pan door. As we move inside, it's a ball valve to allow you to drain the water from your aerial. Moving to the left-hand side and also located off the frame rail, you'll find this warning label. This is for attachment pulling and use of that tethered area. As we move up, you'll find an additional warning label here regarding fall hazard. And as we move farther away to the left of the apparatus, more toward the driver's side, you'll find your folding attic ladder inside this location. You'll also find rear scene and hose bed lights. Let's move up to the top. Once again, you do have a warning here because of the aerial device moving up. There is the possibility of electrocution. That's why we have a danger label here. And then also, once again, fall because of the ladder on the left-hand side. As we move up, we do have 2 chutes for hose on the passenger and driver's side. That's why we have a warning label here regarding entanglement. Located directly in the center, you'll find your backup camera. Above that, you're going to find your traffic advisor. Let's go ahead and take a look inside the 2 chutes, first left and right side. This is going to be the driver's side. Moving to the right, you'll find the passenger side chute also. Let's take a look in between the stair to gain access to the top. You'll find hydraulic level indicator on one side. On the other side, you'll also find, just next to it, you'll find a tilt. This is going to be from front to back from 0 to 15 degrees. As we move now up on top of the truck, we'll go to the pedestal. We'll find some warning labels here regarding electrocution hazard and also crush. There is also a audible indicator located in the very rear section. It does have the ability to dampen the sound around the outer edge of that bezel. As we move down, you'll find a pan door. This is going to be an access panel here. This is for calibration for service. And you'll also find your aerial manual control. As we look inside the door of the pedestal, you'll find on the left-hand side some warning and some danger labels. And on the very far left, you'll find Pierce placards regarding the capabilities. Let's first start back up at the very top here with the emergency stop button. This is a push button for your emergency stop. And as we move down, you'll also find, just beneath that, you'll find the DC lights. You'll also find the access for the aerial control activation. This is for remote access. It is a protected switch. And then as we move down, you do have 2 options for your aerial speed, normal speed or fast. That's in the lower left-hand corner. Moving back up to the top, we do have ladder illumination. This is going to be the ladder's lights that are actually on the ladder itself on the bed area. And then we also have AC lights. And down at the very bottom, you'll find your emergency hydraulic power. Moving to the right, you'll find your Pierce command zone. Once again, a tremendous amount of information right here at your fingertips. Please see your owner's manual for more information for use and care. Let's move down from this location where the controls are located. First, for nozzle control, you have an indication here for your nozzle being stowed. You also have nozzle control for the shape and also right and left and up and down. To the right, you'll also find ladder controls for extend, retract, right and left, and also raise and lower. As we move now to the front section of the pedestal, you'll find your intercom system. There is a speaker and then also volume control down in the lower left. And to the right, you'll find your push to talk. Let's move back to the cover itself where you'll find your ascendant information regarding your waterway with operation of dry at 35 mile an hour wind condition, operation charged with a 35 mile an hour wind condition. You'll also find monitor nozzle positions located in this area. As we move to the left-hand side, you'll find the specifications and setup per NFPA 1911 testing. Let's move just to the right of the pedestal where you'll find your inclinometer from 0 to -10 degrees and from 0 to 80 degrees. As we move to the base of the ladder, you'll find additional storage here on the step area. And then let's go ahead and move now to the actual ladder itself. This is a 4-section ladder. At the very last section, you'll find steps here regarding the midsection for if you choose to reduce the nozzle position from the tip to the lower section of the fly. You'll also find ladders located on the passenger side. There are 2 of them located within the fly area. As we move to the very front section, you'll find what we mentioned earlier. This is to allow you to reduce the nozzle from the tip position midway on the last fly. This is the mechanism that you can see and identify where you're actually making that connection. There's also connections here, or I should say warning labels here regarding pinch hazard and also crush injury. As we move to the right of that indicator, you'll find nozzle controls, and then also further to the right up onto the side is where you'll find your intercom system. This does have volume control, although there's no need for a push. It will be active. You also have a 20 amp plug. This is for your generated power. Moving to the left, you have your AC lights and also DC light activation switches. In the very top section in the right, you'll find the red stop button. As we move to the nozzle itself, you'll find individual nozzle controls located on the tip area. Let's take a look just to the right-hand side where you'll find your 200-foot electrical cord reel. You'll also find, as we peek down through the ladder itself, you'll find the top fill location for your water tank. Let's go ahead and move back to the rear section of the ladder where you'll find a roll-up compartment door, dry deck material, and adjustable shelving. We'll go ahead and move now just forward of that. This is the rear wheel. Just behind that rear wheel, bottle storage and also diesel fill location. I'd also like to point out we do have some danger warning labels also here regarding pinch and also crush injury because of those outriggers moving in and out. Just to the left, you'll find the DEF blue cap, which is 4.5 US gallons. That's for your DEF tank. As we move to the first compartment, you'll find a G1, which stands for your generator. This is the breaker panel for it, and then also the information regarding your Harrison, regarding how much power is being outputted by that device. We do have some warning labels also located on this panel here, electrical shock hazard, and then also a yellow placard here regarding the type and single phase of your continuous power supply. This is your amps for lines 1 and amps for line 2, frequency and also AC volts. As we move within that same compartment, you'll find your air compressor. When plugged into shore power, this will be activated, along with, when plugged into shore power, your auto charge system for your batteries. The lower box is indicating for shore power. Let's go ahead and move to the pump panel area. Let's start at the very top section where you'll find a pump engaged. If your pump has properly been engaged, you'll find this light illuminating. You'll also find an audible speaker. On the left-hand side of that, you'll find the volume control. We do have a danger label here regarding electrical shock because of the activation of that ladder moving upward, the possibility for engaging electrical lines. As we move to the right in the gray, you'll find your master intake and also your master discharge. Located in between the two of those, you'll find your test gauge ports for vacuum and pressure. They are currently plugged. In the upper right-hand side, you'll find an audible and also a visual indicator for your PCM fault. It would be amber in color if illuminating. Let's move now down to the discharges. You'll find your front discharge, crosslays 1, 2, and also the 2.5 inch. And then you also have an intercom system here, volume control, and push-to-talk mechanism. We'll move to the right where you'll find your pressure throttle governor. Let's start at the very top. If illuminated, would be yellow, would be the check engine. Located in the center, you'll find a digital readout for the RPMs or tachometer. And then to the right, you'll find in red, if illuminated, the stop engine indicator. Just beneath that, you'll find all of your engine diagnostic informations. As I move to the right-hand side, you'll also find pump temperature. Moving down from that location, you'll find your water tank. This is the level of the water tank. And then as I move to the right, you'll find two buttons. First, the red button, which is going to be a silence button, which will silence the audible alarm. As I move further down, you'll find an orange button. This is the menu button, allowing you to scroll through the various menu functions of the device. Moving down, you have two options, either pressure control or throttle control. Those are the two indicators. Located in the center is digital information and readout. Down in the lower section, you'll find your control mode that allows you to select between pressure and throttle. And located in the center, you'll find a throttle ready, which would be a green indicator. And to the right, if you choose, you can preset pump pressures or throttle. Moving down, you'll find the throttle, which will be right to increase, left to decrease. And if you'd like, move to idle position, you can push directly in the center. Let's move down from this location. First, let's start in the upper left-hand corner. This is going to be your tank fill, and next to it is your tank to pump. Located in the center is your recirculating line. This is a twist, not a pull. And then moving to the right, you'll find your pull to prime your pump. Also moving to the right, we have the aerial discharge. There is a gauge at the very top. As you look into the actual wheel itself, you'll find it's a 12-to-1 ratio for opening and closing that. Also moving down, you'll find two electronic gauges. First, the number 2 and large diameter. Those are the two gauges down in the lower section. As I move to the right, you'll find the minimum operation maintenance schedule for 150, 200, and 250 psi. On the left-hand side, it'll show the GPMs that are associated with the test pressure. and to the right hand side it'll show the RPM. It does have the job number and also a governed speed of 2,400 RPMs. Moving down to the left, you'll find your intake relief. Your intake relief does have an adjustable relief valve, and to the right you'll find your primer drain. That's a twist, not a pull. Moving down, you'll find a warning label regarding only trained personnel should operate this piece of equipment only after they received proper training. Down the lower section, you'll find your discharge drains, color-coded and also labeled. As we move to that pan door, you'll find the manual pump shift override. It is a protected switch with an indicator that's amber. As I move to the left-hand side of the panel, you'll find your lights, and also you'll find in red, this is going to be an air horn. We do also have a cord reel rewind. Once again, that's that 20 amp, 200 foot electrical cord reel. Moving down to the lower section of the notched area, you'll find two discharges. First, we'll start at the very top with the number 1 discharge. Just beneath that, you'll find the number 3 discharge. These are both 2.5-inch discharges. We do have a warning label here regarding pressure hazard because those caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when removing the cap itself. Located in the center behind the Pierce logo, American flag and eagle, large diameter pump intake, and to the right you'll find an air inlet. Just beneath that you'll also find a warning label regarding fall hazard. As we move further down, you'll find your associated drains for this area of all your discharges, and then to the right you'll find a 2.5-inch female inlet. This is your auxiliary inlet. Let's take a couple close-ups of the items that we just talked about. First, starting with the two discharges, number 1 and number 3. Moving over the driver's side auxiliary inlet, once again a female. Let's go ahead and move to the body section where we're going to start some of the items here. Same layout as we had on the passenger side as we have on the driver's side. 3 cross lays, the release mechanisms located on the upper and lower section, and also that warning label regarding entanglement hazard. Moving from this location, let's just move to the very top section. This is going to be your electrical cord reel. Once again, that's that 200-foot electrical cord reel. As we move inside the cab in the rear area, you'll find your fluid check located behind the small door located at the rear of the engine. This will be for your transmission and also engine oil. Just a general view inside the rear section, you'll find 3 seats across the back wall, 2 fold down and a center mounted seat. You do have a clean cab. David Clark headsets across the very rear section. Let's move to the door panel where you'll find at all door panels at all points of entry these warning labels affixed to that panel. You also have additional warning labels here about the right ankle location and also just beneath the seat regarding seatbelt information. On the actual door of the driver's area, you'll find this manufactured by Pierce. This has the gross vehicle weight ratings, date of manufacture, job number, cold tire inflation, the VIN number, and then across the very bottom you'll find all of the components, fluid capacities, and fluid types for your vehicle. As we move just up from the panel itself, you'll find your window controls, and the lock mechanism will be on the latch itself. At the floor level, you'll find your mechanical siren foot pedal. As we move just about the left knee of the operator, you'll find 3 locations for diagnostic information, your tech module, your transmission ABS, and also display. Below that, you'll find ABS diagnostics and engine diagnostics, and then you'll find your regen inhibit and DPF regen switches. Let's move up from this location where you'll find your ignition and start switch. At the very top in red, this is going to be your hazard lights or 4-way lights. As we move just to the left of the center column, you'll find an EM switch, which stands for Emergency Master. This will engage all of your emergency lights. To the right of it, you'll find your running lights and also headlights. Further to the right, you'll find a switch labeled Panel. This will increase or decrease the panel lights. Let's go ahead and move to the opposite side of the steering column where you'll find your OK to engage the high idle and an OK to engage high idle indicator. Looking in the center, you'll find your transmission, oil, DEF level, and water temp. On the right side, you'll find the volts, fuel, front and rear air with your speedometer and tachometer located directly in the center. Diagnostic information will display above and below the speedometer. Let's take a quick look around the center of the cab area. First, we'll start in the upper left-hand corner with your Pierce command zone. Once again, as I said before, tremendous amount of information just right here at your fingertips. See your owner's manual. You do have an Allison transmission with an indication here to pump in neutral. And we'll go ahead and move through some of the switches now. Just above the switches, you'll find generator information regarding start and stop. And we'll start with your aerial master, aerial generator and PTO, and also your generator on and off. As we move down, you'll find a siren brake, air horn, fuel primer, and a load manager. Moving further down, you'll find your engine brake on and off, settings for that engine brake for low, medium, and high, a future switch location, a front wheel lock. This is for your radio. It's a radio push to talk, and also a mirror heat. When those switches have been selected, the green indicator will illuminate. Let's go ahead and move further to the rear section here, where you'll find your traffic advisor, and you'll also find your stationary OK to pump and roll, and then also your water pump switch. The stationary is an indicator switch. Moving up onto the top, you'll find your mirror controls for the left and right mirror. And then as we move to the forward section, you'll find your heating and air conditioning and also defrost. Let's go overhead of the driving position, where you'll find the height of your vehicle, 11 feet 7 inches, your length 39 feet 5 inches, and a gross vehicle weight rating of 57,500 pounds. If you make any adjustments to this, please update this placard. Let's move just to the right, where you'll find your emergency master, your roof light, front warning, and side warning. As we move down, you'll find the lower rear warning, upper rear warning, opticom, and high beam flash. Anytime any of these have been engaged, the outer edge will illuminate. Let's also move just to the right, where you'll find the front flood, driver's side cab scene. These are the lights that are directly on the cab. Passenger cab scene, your tip or tracking lights, and also rear scene, driver side and passenger side body scene lights, and then a future switch if necessary. Moving to the center, you'll find your siren control and also your PA speaker system. Moving further to the right, you'll find your Bluetooth, Sirius XM, CD, and AM/FM weather band radio. You'll also find located in the center your seatbelt information, red indicating someone is in the seat and not belted, green indicating they're in the seat and belted. To the right, you'll find a digital readout for your pump pressure, and then further to the right, kind of difficult to see in this image, this is a water level indicator of the water amount in your tank. Let's move now to just a general view of the cab ceiling area. You have push on and off red and white lights, and then also your heating and air conditioning unit, and also you'll find your David Clark headset system. As we move around to the officer side, you'll find affixed to the door panel all of your safety warning information. This vehicle is equipped with an airbag, a supplemental restraint system, and that's what the SRS is indicating. Please do not mount anything within this area and block the airbag. As we move to the left-hand side of the positioned seat, you'll find a radio push-to-talk, and then you'll also find 12-volt access, barrel style, and also USB. As I move to the very front area, you'll find your vehicle data recorder port. And then as we look overhead, you'll find on the very far right-hand side over the officer's head, this is your unit radio. Moving to the left, you'll find a set of switch panels, air horn, passenger side cab, siren brake, front flood, and also passenger side scene. Just a general view overhead of your apparatus. I would like to point out in the very center, you'll find the red do not move your apparatus. If this light is illuminating, it's indicating you have a compartment open or a door ajar. Congratulations, Clark County, Nevada, on your new fire apparatus, job number 33856. If you have any questions regarding your vehicle, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.